Well, in the beginning, I used to not eat in school because the food was like really different from us, and like my mom had to cook me every day like different kinds of food, like our
Yes.
cultural food. And so, like my friends would ask, or the people that would want to like talk to me, they'd gonna be like, "Oh, what are you eating?" I'm like, "Oh, this is like my country's food." So, yeah.
So, now, education is very different in America versus other parts of the world. Americans tend to take it for granted. So then when you arrived to America and there was a big language barrier too, how did you overcome the language barrier when you first arrived?
Well, when I first arrived, I would sit in class and I would be very upset because everyone was talking and I wasn't talking because I didn't know what to say. I didn't understand anything. So I would always cry and be like, I want to go home, like I want my mom, because that's where I felt most comfortable. School made me feel very uncomfortable because they didn't have such a wide variety of like other kids that were foreign. It was just me, so I was singled out.
So when the teacher talked, it almost sounded like the Charlie Brown, the burr, 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 burr,
Yep,
burr.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, see. And how did you overcome that?
Well, to be honest, the more I sat around it, the more I sat around English, the more I started like picking up on it, and just like little words. And my English was very broken for a really long time, but it got better and better and better, and here I am.
All right. Thank you for that. A pretty big thing here is the language, like you said. The language. When you have a different language, you translate it to English. Sometimes English doesn't have the certain words to match that language, or vice versa. So how would say you overcome that? You're from
Iraq. My name is Marcel.
Okay.
I'm from Iraq.
Iraq, okay. So you're Assyrian, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you speak Assyrian, how do you translate from Assyrian to English? And sometimes there's words that don't really match up. What was your experience like that?
So it was really difficult for me to translate from Syrian to English. So I had to get words, study them, and see each word what it means for my language, and start like making up sentences. So it comes all like in the end a full sentence without like getting confused between the words.
Would you guys say that you are happy where you are now? Or do you feel that America still needs some improvement as far as treating immigrants or even those that are from their country, the blacks, Hispanics, etc.?
I think in America, people should be more respectful of other people's cultures
Yeah.
and be understanding as to what we do, how we speak, what we eat.
Yeah.
It just hurts a lot when people just say such rude and crucial things to you. It sucks.
It does suck.
I just wish like when anyone is watching, like say a video on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere, like when they're watching this, let's say there was this kid saying, "Oh, everyone from the Middle East is terrorist," or "Everyone that's like this religion is terrorist," or whatever. Like I just wish when they watch any kind of video like this, after they watch it, before judging anyone that's from the Middle East or from anywhere that's what they're being called, like go search it up. Go be like, okay, like is all Muslim people bad? Is all Christian people good? Is all Christian people bad? Is all Muslim people good?
Or go
Like,
get to know someone.
Yeah,
Go meet
exactly.
someone.
The problem is
Get to
that
know
people always look from inside the box. They don't look outside. What is
Closed-minded.
happening?
Just like the
Yes.
small picture, they don't
Yeah.
view it all.
They don't. They only listen to their people. They don't listen to the other people
Very
who have
close-minded.
experience and been through all that.
Exactly. I understand completely. Well, thank you guys very much for coming here and discussing your
Thank you for
different.
having us.
Thank
Not a
you.
problem. Not a problem at all. Now, they say racism is a pretty big problem too, especially when you come working in America. When you come working here, and let's say you're a waiter, what would your experience be if you were in a restaurant and you had American patrons there who were treating you unfairly? Give an experience as far as that.
To me, when I first came here, especially at school
Yeah.
and with some other places, people were making fun of me because the word I say, like if I some words I couldn't like say like long words, they would start making fun of me.
Yeah.
Especially grammar, I couldn't put all the words in the right place.
Okay.
They making, oh, you don't know how to speak English. What are you doing? What are you doing here? You should leave. Go back to your country.
Wow.
It was hard for me, so I just didn't care until I learned, and now
Or
I'm
when
here.
people call you a terrorist.
Yeah.
I've
That's
had
a crazy
multiple
one.
people come at me and call me a terrorist, and multiple more.
Whenever they hear that you're from the Middle East, that's what they like. The first thing that comes in mind is like, "Oh, you're a terrorist. Go back to your country."
But
Exactly.
the thing people don't realize is, doesn't matter if we're from Middle East. Does not mean we're all like all the same religion. We're all the same thing.
Yeah.
Even like if you say there's bad Christian, there's good Christian, there's bad Muslim, there's good Muslim. So this is a different. If you don't know the person, you're not gonna know where he is and where he's from, if he's good or bad, until you stay with him, talk to him, and know where's his story, and when he was in his country.
They say perception is a pretty big thing. Perception of other people and seeing where they're from, and just from the skin color of them and their how much melanin they have in their skin, etc. Now, coming from Mexico, you're from Mexico,
Yes.
Roberto. When you come from Mexico, you're viewed differently by being Hispanic in an American country. What's some experiences you faced as far as racism or attitudes towards those that come across the border?
Well, I came here in like second grade,
Okay.
so I still remember I would go to my class, and there would be other students that would just stare at me and think, "Oh, that's the new kid, probably weird." Like, no one really. That's what everyone thinks about new people, right?
Yeah.
So, I knew how to speak English and Spanish, but I was really bad at English. So, like what he said, they would make fun of me because I didn't know how to say anything. So, there were these other kids too that would speak Spanish with me, so I would make friends with them. But it was also weird because I wanted to be friends with other people, but I knew I couldn't fit in because
Exactly.
even if I tried, I wouldn't be able to.
Wow, that's horrible. And how did you overcome that? Like, let's say a pretty big topic in America is the build the wall thing, and Trump's rhetoric towards Hispanics and others, calling them very derogatory names. How did you personally feel when our own president, our commander-in-chief, was saying such things about Mexicans and other Hispanic?
Well, getting into politics, I know what he thought about that, but to be honest, he was talking about illegal immigrants, not legal. So it's a lot different, so it really didn't affect us.
Still, when you hear stuff like that from your own president, you hear things that he's saying about people.
Yeah, because there were boys, like at our school and in junior high school, that would be like, build the wall in front of my face, like just to do it because they thought it was funny. But now they just do it as a joke because they know I just don't care. And they'll be like, what do you think about Trump? Because like they already know what I think. They just want to,
So then how did you overcome such a problem?
Well, I couldn't ignore it because it was every day. As much as I tried to ignore it, it was really hard. So I guess I just had to accept it.
Acceptance. Acceptance is pretty big here. Now, you're Canadian. And they do say it's true, American living is very different from Canadian living.
Yeah.
Give us an experience of how Canadians live versus Americans. What's something that you guys do that we don't, or vice versa?
Well, everyone says that like America is like the country of like freedom and stuff, but like it's very restricted. Like even at like I noticed when I moved here, like school, my old school, we could leave like campus and go eat lunch and stuff, and here it's like you only have 30 minutes to stay here, and it's just very crowded. And there's a big like in Canada there isn't as big of a like people don't really think of teenagers as horrible people, whereas here people are like, oh, teenagers are up to bad stuff, and it's just differently how like even older people view us.
So how about like immigration? They say immigration laws tend to be more lenient, you say, in Canada, or more stricter in Canada versus in America?
I mean, from my experience, I guess it was lenient, but I don't really know about other like countries how they did that. But like it was still, it felt tedious because like it's basically us just paying them. Like I had my green card renewed on Monday, and we had to pay $850 a person.
That's a lot.
And like it was just to get our fingerprints done and our picture taken.
Yeah.
So like it's basically